Hello friends, today we will discuss about patent ductus arteriosus. In this, in short, we will discuss how to detect PDA in preterm babies. So today we will discuss about clinical, radiological and echocardiographic features of patent ductus arteriosus in preterm babies. So first coming to clinical features of patent ductus arteriosus in preterm babies. So in this also we'll divide system wise. So first respiratory features of the PDA. In the respiratory, that baby will have increased respiratory distress in form of tachypnea. Baby will have increase of tachypnea, retractions, intercostal retractions, and increased work of breathing. Baby can have recurrent apneas, increase FiO2 requirement. If baby is on any respiratory support, CPAP or ventilator, that baby can have increased FiO2 requirement or increased pressure requirement on CPAP or ventilator. PDA babies have higher risk of development of the bronchopulmonary dysplasia. So if any baby is having BPD, that baby has higher risk of developing BPD. One more is the serious complication is the pulmonary hemorrhage. Because of left to right shunt, PDA will have left to right shunt. Because of left to right shunt, there will be increased blood flow into the lungs, pulmonary over circulation that can cause pulmonary hemorrhage. These all the features are because of the pulmonary flooding or pulmonary over circulation, increase left to right shunt. Because of that, lung compliance will decrease. Because of decreased lung compliance, child will have increased respiratory stress, increased work of breathing, increased FiO2 and pressure requirement, and pulmonary hemorrhage. Second, we'll see cardiovascular features of the PDA. So any baby with PDA will have tachycardia, bounding pulses. If we feel the pulses, that will be bounding pulses. Precordium will be hyperdynamic. Hyperdynamic precordium will be there because of left ventricular overload. Precordium will be hyperdynamic. Wide pulse pressure of more than 25. Systolic minus diastolic difference will be more. Murmur will be there. But in preterm or newborn babies, murmur can be only systolic murmur because of increased pulmonary pressures. Continuous murmur is rarely seen. Only systolic murmur will be present. Next is hypotension can be there and shock also can be there because of PDA. Next, coming to the GI clinical features of the PDA. So in GI symptoms, baby can have feed intolerance and increased risk of the NEC because of the systemic hypoperfusion. Because baby will have retrograde diastolic flow during the diastole. So systemic hypoperfusion will be there. Because of that, GI perfusion also will decrease. Because reduced GI perfusion, baby can have feed intolerance and increased risk of the NEC. Next is renal. Renal also there will be renal perfusion will decrease because of the systemic hypoperfusion. Because of decreased renal perfusion, child will have oliguria and increased risk of acute kidney injury will be there. Next is CNS symptom. In CNS, baby can have increased risk of the IVH because of the hypoperfusion reperfusion injury. Because of initially hypotension will be there, hypoperfusion will be there, later on the reperfusion will be there. Because of that hypoperfusion reperfusion injury, baby will have increased risk of intraventricular hemorrhage and later on increased risk of the periventricular leukomalacia. Next, in metabolic, baby will have increased risk of metabolic acidosis. Because of the systemic hypoperfusion, there will be hypoxic ischemia will be there at tissue level. Because of that, lactic acidosis will produce, that will cause metabolic acidosis. So these are the clinical features of the patent ductus arteriosus that we can see in any baby, preterm baby with PDA. Next, coming to the radiological features of the patent ductus arteriosus. In X-ray, what we can see in PDA. So in X-ray, we will see the cardiomegaly. Because of the overload of the left atrium and left ventricular. Because of the left atrium and left ventricular overload, LV will be dilated and cardiomegaly will be seen in the X-ray. Next, because of the left to right shunt, increased left to right shunt, there will be pulmonary over circulation will be there. Because of that, increased pulmonary vascular markings will be there. So increased pulmonary vascular markings will be seen in X-ray. Features of pulmonary edema will be seen in X-ray. Prominent hilum will be seen because of the increased left to right shunt and pulmonary flooding, pulmonary over circulation, and prominent pulmonary artery we can see in X-ray. So these are the features because of the pulmonary over circulation. Now we'll see what are the echocardiographic features of hemodynamically significant PDM. So in this we'll divide in three categories. First, features of the duct itself. Second, features of pulmonary hyperperfusion. Third, features of systemic hypoperfusion in echocardiography. So first, features of duct. So duct diameter of more than 1.5 mm is hemodynamic significant PDA in preterm babies. In term babies we can see more than 2 mm, but in preterm babies more than 1.5 mm is hemodynamic significant PDA. Second, diameter ratio of PDA to LPA, left pulmonary artery. PDA to left pulmonary artery diameter ratio more than 1 is hemodynamically significant PDA. Third is pulsatile flow in the duct. So non-restrictive pulsatile flow through the duct is very highly sensitive indicator of hemodynamically significant PDA. So pulsatile flow should be there, like this is the pulsatile flow, non-restrictive. This one is not a pulsatile flow. Non-restrictive pulsatile flow through the duct is a highly sensitive indicator of hemodynamic significant PDA in echocardiography. So these are the features of duct. Next, second, pulmonary features of pulmonary hyperperfusion. So in this also we'll see three features only. So first is left ventricular output if more than 200 ml per kg per minute, 200 to 300 ml per kg per minute is seen in hemodynamic significant PDA. Second, LAAO ratio, left atrium to aortic root ratio more than 1.5 mm is hemodynamic significant PDA. Means left atria is dilated because of the PDA, and this is ratio is more than 1.5 is hemodynamic significant. Third is EA ratio is more than 1 through the mitral wall. EA ratio, what is the EA ratio? EA ratio is the when there is during diastole ventricular filling will be there. In ventricular filling during diastole has two phases. First is early phase, early and passive phase, early and passive phase. Second, active phase, active or atrial phase. So this is early passive phase. During diastole ventricular filling will be there passively. In second phase, with active atrial contraction filling will be there. So because of in PDA, left atria is enlarged, it increased pressure in left atria. That's why early passive phase will increase in the PDA. So in hemodynamic significant PDA, early passive phase of the ventricular filling will increase and EA ratio will be more than 1. So this is the HSPDA. Next is features of systemic hypoperfusion in PDA. So this there will be retrograde, absent or retrograde diastolic flow. Absent or retrograde diastolic flow in descending aorta, middle cerebral artery or superior mesenteric artery. So these are the features of systemic hypoperfusion. So during diastole there will be retrograde flow in descending aorta or middle cerebral artery or superior mesenteric artery. This will cause brain hypoperfusion, this will cause GI hypoperfusion. So these are the criteria of echocardiographic features of systemic hypoperfusion. In this, if we want to see what is the most highly sensitive indicator, so two will see. First is the pulsatile flow in the duct is very highly sensitive indicator. Second is the retrograde flow in the descending aorta during diastole. These two are the very highly sensitive indicators of hemodynamic significant PDA. So these today we have seen clinical, radiological and echocardiographic features of the hemodynamic significant PDA. Thank you.